Hi, my name is Maggi Hodge. The name of the exhibit is Overload. I don't need to explain overload to anybody today. Kind of the concept came to me when we started the first lockdown. What the quarantine, I guess that's a little different once you've been exposed, but everything is on total overload. From your mind making you crazy to the media. At the time I started it, it was in the middle of the election, everybody going crazy on either side, it didn't really matter. Media in general, social media, just overload. So that was the thought behind the collection. I usually use a lot of color. I'm not kind of a minimalist in terms of color, so the color's the same. The subject's a little different. The canvases are totally overloaded with texture, layers, colors. I do a lot of that, but this is really to the extreme, I think. Well, I usually start with some sort of base. Lately, I've been using a gel. Then I cut into the gel, use a lot of acrylics, move it around, then I do another layer. I try to do texture with the paint itself, with cutting into the paint itself, but then with patterns and patterns on top of patterns, things like that. So really, these paintings have 4 or 5, some of them 10 layers. Well, they all do speak to the COVID virus and what it's doing to everyone. You know, you can't escape it. So different things, like this one is kind of a camouflage, I'm hiding, you can't see me, but I'm still looking out, that one. This lady is in a forest in Japan. It's fabled that some people go in there and you can't find your way out, so in essence you're committing suicide. You know, a lot of people are very depressed during this period, isolated, depressed, but she's gonna make it out. That one's a little mechanized, you know, some people are getting kind of robotic in this period, so they all have something. That one's like super overloaded, and kind of a lot of the conspiracy theories, I included that a little bit just for the fun of it. You know, it's a little like other planets. There definitely are aliens, and they're among us, and when we get elevated enough, they'll show themselves. So I have a couple of those, like hidden in the painting, the aliens. I think that was funny. This is just a woman exhausted from trying to take care of everything. I want to show what's going on because I really do think a lot of people feel alone, lonely, and they think, oh my God, am I the only one going crazy like this? And not everyone's communicating with other people, so it kind of says, hey, you're not alone. We're all overloaded. Everybody's going through this. Some of them, most of them I handled, you know, with some humor, lightly, you know, just to bring that element into it. It's a serious subject, but I have tried to bring some lightness into it in terms of the palette and colors. And if it can make somebody joyful or smile when otherwise they'd just be depressed about this whole thing, fantastic. I tried to show that even in the middle of a very changing environment, a surprising change, I don't think anybody was worried about a pandemic. You know, we worry about everything else. Right? We weren't really expecting this to happen. So I tried to include all of that in this. It's kind of subtle, but there's a little bit of death in it, a little bit of grief in it, not a lot, and it's kind of mixed in with, on top of the grief and all the death that was surrounding us, we can find a lighter approach, maybe a spiritual approach to it, something like that, something other than just suffering.